Finding a successful product to sell on Amazon involves finding niches that have high demand and low competition. However, I've discovered through my own experience that just looking at the reviews to determine the level of competition isn't enough. I've made several videos in the past that covered examining the market saturation of a niche so that you can avoid getting into niches that appear to have low competition but are in fact saturated with new sellers or may become potentially saturated and therefore increase the level of competition. Recently, I've worked with AMZScout to bring a new tool to help with product research to do just that. Show you how saturated a niche is. And make sure you stick around until the end. I'm going to show you my new product idea and how it works with the new tool. But first, my name is Crescent, and this is our first time meeting. Welcome to my channel. My passion is sharing tips and strategies on how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, or especially if you've been around my channel, consider subscribing. All right, let's get started. Okay, so what is market saturation? Market saturation is another metric that I use to help gauge the level of competition. I'm excited to show you the powerful new tool in a minute, but how I traditionally determine the level of saturation is by looking at how many new sellers there are in the niche amongst the top listings. The AMZScout Chrome extension makes doing this very easy as it pulls up the listing's age right in the data window. For example, if we take a look at the can opener niche and open up the AMZScout tool, you can see here the age of all the listings. If you don't see this column, you can turn it on in the settings by checking the Available From option. If you don't have AMZScout, you can manually check the age of each listing by using a tool called Keepa. It's also a Chrome extension, but you don't have to actually run it. After you install it, you can open up each listing one by one, and the Keepa tool will open on the listings page and show you the age here. Now, why is this important? Amazon sellers, especially beginners, are typically all doing product research the same way, using the same common methods and filters. And because of this, it's very common that a niche that has high demand and low competition based strictly by sales velocity and reviews will pop up and get seen by a lot of people around the same time. So suddenly this niche is on everyone's radar and tons of people end up jumping in on the niche at the same time. And within a few short weeks, there's a huge influx of new sellers saturating the niche and driving up the competition. And because these are all new listings, they all will have very little reviews and most likely also have high sales numbers due to the sellers artificially driving sales through PPC and giveaways from their product launch. So if you're not aware of this activity, if you analyze the niche looking for it to pass the standard product research criteria without the market saturation metric in mind, the data will show that it's a good niche to get in on when in fact it isn't. So for me, when I'm doing product research and I see the top listings in the niche is filled predominantly with new sellers, I'll pass on it and look for another less saturated niche. I consider a new listing somewhere around 3 to 4 months old. Listings older than that typically past the product research phase, and the sales numbers you see are organic. Okay, so now that you've seen the benefits of considering this metric when doing product research, how can we improve the reliability of it? Well, consider this scenario. What if you find a new product idea and you just happen to be amongst the first to discover it, and therefore there isn't an influx of new sellers already selling for you to see? Well, here's why I worked with AMZScout to bring a new feature that is going to help you with just that. And this is such a powerful new feature. Wouldn't it be awesome if not only we could see the numbers of the new listings in a niche to determine saturation, but what if we could also see how many people that are doing product research right now have also discovered the niche? Well, now you can. If we take a look at the can opener niche again, if you look at the top, you can see there's a new saturation score. You can see here that it says 10, which means this is a highly saturated niche. And if you hover your mouse over the score, you can see that it actually tells you that 49 people have looked at this niche in the last 30 days. How powerful is that? Now, obviously the data you see here is made available from within the AMZScout user base. You can see here that AMZScout has been downloaded close to 100,000 times. So the data set for the saturation score is certainly broad enough to represent the whole market outside of the AMZScout ecosystem. So before concluding this video, I want to give you all some inspiration. I know a lot of you beginners get disheartened because you can't find a product with high demand and low competition. And now I'm making the product research criteria even more strict that it must be impossible to find a viable product. Well, it's not. It just takes time, patience, and diligence. So for sticking around to the end, I'm going to show you a new product that I've recently found and how it passes all of the product research criteria, including not being saturated. Now, if I pull it up on Amazon and we take a look at the AMZScout data, you can see that it passes all the criteria. The price is over $15. At least 7 of the top 10 listings have less than 75 reviews. It's not brand dominated, and only 1, 2, 3 of the top listings are new. And again, the saturation score here is 2. 7 people have seen this niche in the last 30 days. And if we take a look at the niche score, it's a 9, meaning it's very likely to succeed. Now, if you don't know what the niche score is, it's an excellent tool to help you analyze the data. Now, it breaks it down into 3 categories: profit, demand, and competition. Now, if we look at profit, it says that it's very high. Now, as you can see here, it says the desired prices is between $15 and $40. And that's important because if the price was below $15, there won't be any money left over for profit. After you subtract your FBA fees and your unit costs, you want to make sure there's money left over for profit. And typically products that are above $40 to $50 are no longer impulse buys, and people will tend to put more thought into it. And that's why I always recommend looking for products that are within the $15 to $50 price range. And now if you look here, it says it has very high margins. And that's great because you want to make sure, again, that there's profit to be made. Now, this tool doesn't know what your unit costs are. It only knows what the FBA fees are. So the sale price minus the FBA fees will give you this average net margin, or the margin per listing. Now, the higher this is, the better, because once you subtract your unit costs, there'll be more money left over for your net profit. And it's important that you understand the difference between that. Now, if we go over demand, it says that it's great and it has very high sales. And again, on the previous page, you can see that the average sales velocity is very high. And you can see here that the niche is quite old, and that it's not necessarily a good thing. In my opinion, older niches are great because new niches are of higher risk because they could be a fad or a trend. And an old niche has long-term sustainability. And if you look here, it says the competition is medium and that it's an unsaturated niche, which we went over already. And you can see here it says it has very low quality listings, which is great, which means you can further differentiate your product by having a superior listing. And it says it has very few Amazon sellers, which is good, which means you won't be competing with Amazon. Very low top brand competition. And again, you want to stay away from brand dominated niches. And in this case, AMZScout actually keeps track of which sellers are major brands. And if there are a lot of major brands in a niche, you want to stay away from it because it'll be hard for you to gain any traction. And you can see here it says it has very few reviews, like we went over already on the previous screen. And it says here that it's extremely monopolistic, which means that only a few sellers are taking the lion's share of the sales. But I'm not sure I agree with that, because if we take a look at the estimated sales here, it's pretty evenly distributed amongst all of the listings here. And lastly, it says it has very high average rating. Now, that just means that if we look at the reviews here, that most of them are 4.9, 4.8 star ratings, which just means that you'll have to find a different way to differentiate. It won't be as easy as just finding a problem and a solution or fixing it. All right, so I hope you can see how powerful the AMZScout Chrome extension tool is, especially now that it has the saturation score as part of the tool suite, and how it can make product research so much faster and more convenient by having all this data right in front of you in one convenient window. And you can now add the saturation score and the available from to your product research criteria. And if you need any additional help, the niche score here is available for you to help analyze that data. So as you can see, viable product niches do exist. You just have to put in the time to find them. If you're looking for more information on how to do product research, I have tons of videos on that topic on my channel, and I'll pop one of them up here for you. I'll also leave links in the video description to a couple of videos that go into detail on how to avoid saturated and competitive niches. Now, if you want to try out AMZScout, they do have a free trial period for you. And if you do decide to upgrade, I'll leave a link in the video description with a coupon for you so you can save some money. All right, if you have any questions, post them up in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And to make sure you never miss a video, be sure to click that bell icon to turn on notifications. There's also a link in the video description to our community forums, which you should totally join. And if you're looking for more tips and strategy videos, click or tap over here. And as always, thanks for watching.